Hey everybody, it's that time again. It is Q&A Wednesday, and I apologize for the angle of my tripod. It's having some issues, and it's decided it's gonna just do this. So I know it's looking down on me just a little bit, but it works, right? Slightly new background in a new place, so kind of cool. I have a great topic today. We are talking about, I hear this a lot. People say, okay, well, I forgot my food at home, or, I just didn't have time to meal prep. So, instead of using that as an excuse to just do whatever and go to your favorite fast food restaurant and grab whatever's quick and convenient, there's other ways around it. There's things that you can do. I always have a plan A, a plan B, and a plan C, because you never know. I mean, I've been caught in an airport in the middle of competition prep without any food, got stuck there, because of delays and whatever. So you got to kind of know what you can do that you can still stay within your health goals and not give up and run for whatever is the nearest restaurant. Or, I find it fascinating. I've had over the years, several clients that, okay, well, what did you go get? Well, I went and got, it's healthy, right? I got teriyaki chicken and rice. I'm like, oh my gosh, do you know how much sugar and sodium is in teriyaki? Not to mention MSG. So, there are better ways around that. So today we're going to talk about, if you did get a chance to food prep, if you had some issues, if, you left your food at home for the day, what are some great options that will not ruin your health goals? Okay. So again, for those of you just popping on, hello, I apologize for the angle of my camera, just having some issues with my tripod. It's probably time for a new one. I think it might be just, decided it's going to do whatever it wants today. So, okay, cool. So we're going to talk about, what do you do if you are, maybe you're out of town, it's really not that difficult. I'm always a big fan of being prepared and planning ahead and knowing what to do. And honestly, your best option of staying healthy is to prepare your own food, because honestly, even if you are having, and don't get me wrong, there are some great food prep companies out there. But even then, some of the food prep companies still use things I wouldn't necessarily eat on a regular basis, like tortillas and some things like that. I'm a bigger fan of things like lettuce wraps. I don't do a lot of gluten at this point. To me, that is it's a highly allergenic nutrient, and it's also highly inflammatory. So, I like to be able to food prep myself because I know what's in it. I know exactly how much is there. I weigh it and measure it myself. And yeah, you might call me obsessed, but I'm okay with that, because you know what? I'm pretty happy with what I've been able to do with my physique in the last 10 years. So I'm totally cool with that. So, keep in mind, and it doesn't matter to me if you are not a competitor. I could care less. You know what? If you take lunch to work, you're food prepping. That's what it is. And you can't just, here's how I look at it. If you wake up in the morning and you don't know what you're going to eat for the day, you're already kind of screwed, because it's much, much easier to plan and know, okay, if I know exactly what I'm going to eat for the day, I know that it fits my macros. I know that it fits within my guidelines. I know that it's clean, and I'm not, like I said, running for the closest Panda Express to eat stuff that you really shouldn't be putting in your body. So, hello, lots of people popping up today. So here's the deal. And of course, you know me, I like to take notes. The other benefit, really quick, of preparing your own food, it is much more cost effective. I prepare everything in bulk. And here's the deal. Even if you don't want to eat the same thing every week, I'm okay eating the same thing for the week. It makes it a whole lot easier to prep, an entire crock pot of chicken. A good friend of mine, Carrie, just gave me half a slab of salmon. I'm like, rock on. Sounds good to me. So I can prepare all that at once. It makes it super fast. I can do food prep in 45 minutes. I've just gotten really good at it over the years. Hi, Tina. So it doesn't really take me that long. I know exactly what to do. I know exactly how I like it. And guys, honestly, I just eat my food cold. To me, it's fuel. If I want something amazing, I save that for my free meal. So honestly, I've just done this long enough that, I don't get me wrong, I have the meals that I like and that, I like to eat. So, okay. So if you get stuck, instead of running to the closest fast food restaurant, if you have a grocery store, you're going to find much, much better options. Even if you don't have the ability to cook something, here's a lot. I wrote down all the ideas. Not a huge fan of deli meat, but in a pinch, it's not a bad option, especially if you pick something. Personally, I usually pick low fat, even though that's not always, depending on what your macros are, that's not always necessary, but I do pick low sodium and nitrate free. And it is technically still processed food, but again, better than going to McDonald's. So, I'll grab that. You can grab pre-cut vegetables. You can grab some fruit, make sure you're eating a protein alongside that. Rice cakes, I love rice cakes a little too much. tuna packets. You know, you can do some canned chicken. Again, they're not always my first choice. You know, I really like my fresh food that I've just recently cooked, and it's really whole and clean. But, you know, in a pinch, those things work really, really great for me. Marco says turkey meatballs. Oh, that sounds so good right now. I'm hungry, obviously. But yeah, so there's just some great options that you can pick up at the grocery store that are going to be a much better option. Greek yogurt was another one that I came up with. Again, watch the sugar because they are not all created equal. Yeah, those were some really quick, easy ones. You know, again, whatever you can eat that's the outside perimeter of the store that is, you know, pre-cooked or, you know, fresh is obviously going to be your best bets. So that's kind of plan B, right? If your plan A, you left at home or didn't get that accomplished, that's plan B. The next best option, of course, restaurant-wise, is going to be a sit-down option. A sit-down restaurant is always much better than fast food because, of course, fast food is exactly that. They cook it fast. It's not usually quality ingredients. It's not whole, clean foods. Sometimes you can make some good choices. We'll talk about that in a second with fast food. But usually at a sit-down restaurant, almost every sit-down restaurant has some sort of a grilled chicken or a steak that's a great option. And again, you know, be careful with your cuts just because some are fattier than others. And I prefer to get my fats in a little bit healthier options. But, you know, salmon. So honestly, my favorite restaurant, my favorite place to eat, my whole family will all eat at Texas Roadhouse because, you know, we ask for no bread, but we can all make a healthy choice pretty simply. So, and they usually are really good with requests as well. So don't be afraid that if you go somewhere, you know, and have a special request. I've been to restaurants where normally they maybe saute something and they're willing to steam it. You just have to ask. I think because our country is becoming a little more health conscious, most places are willing to do a little bit better about some special requests or healthier options. So, you know, those are some good choices. When you are ordering, really, most of you probably already know this. Sometimes I feel like I'm kind of giving this back, but, you know, avoid things that are fried, sauteed, you know, because of course that's going to be an oil or, you know, not your best options. It's going to add calories to it. So try to pick things that are grilled, poached, baked. Those are much better options when it comes to how they're preparing your food. And really pay attention, watch for things, you know, excess sodium, MSG, and even, yeah, you just really have to pay attention. You should kind of know already what your best options are when you're walking in there. And honestly, if I'm going to go to a restaurant, now again, I know we're talking about last minute kind of forgot stuff, but I already know where I can go in town. And if I'm traveling, I've already done my research and I know our restaurants are in the area, so I know what I can have and what's available to me. So then after your sit-down restaurant, if fast food has to be an option, there's always going to be better choices than others. And guys, you know, yeah, Subway's an okay option, but first of all, that's a lot of bread. And if you ever have to do that, honestly, I actually ask them to scrape the bread out because that's way more carbs than anyone needs, even in a 6-inch. But, you know, even their deli meats and things like that, granted, I haven't done the research on it, but I can't guarantee that they're nitrate free. And again, deli meat is a processed food, so it usually contains a lot of sodium. So pick your choices wisely. You know, I don't do a lot of fast food, period, because honestly, I'd rather go to the grocery store. It tastes better, and I know it's not going to make my stomach hurt. But in the past, when I was learning about this, you know, I would do things like go somewhere that had a grilled chicken sandwich and just ask for the grilled chicken, no bun. You know, you can do a salad, but guys, the dressing and all of the stuff on it, you know, you can get a fast food salad, and if you use what's there, you can actually get more calories and more fat and more unhealthy stuff on that salad than sometimes a hamburger. So again, make some good choices. Make sure that you know what you're getting. I always take my own salad dressing with me so that I know that I'm getting something. But again, you know, just think about it. What can you get that's healthy, and what are the options there, and make your choices accordingly. Last but not least, my very last choice would be a convenience store. And I actually recently had that experience with one of my clients who in a pinch had to run to a convenience store. So I really honestly racked my brain as to what could a convenience store possibly have that you could eat in a pinch. And there's still a couple of things. A lot of convenience stores will carry like fruit. I know sometimes it looks a little scary. A lot of times they will have in their little deli section hard-boiled eggs, you know, some cut up fruit, some veggies. So, you know, really, again, it's better that you eat than not eat, but let's make some wise choices. The other thing that I've seen that convenience stores carry now that they didn't used to, but I find it really interesting, that most places, hey Brandy, I'm gonna post it so you can watch it later, hun. Most convenience stores have a whole selection now of protein bars. So in a pinch, that is an option. Just make sure that you're watching the sugars, because not all protein bars are created equal. There are a few of them that you might as well eat a Snickers, because the amount of sugar that it contains is about the same. So make sure, like Quest is kind of one of the better options, lower sugar. There's a couple of other ones that tend to be a little bit lower sugar. Hello, Marianne. So, there's some benefits there. So just remember that the more processed the food is, probably the worse it is for you. Remember that processed food and whole food, you can't count the calories the same. We talked about this in the past, where a calorie is not always a calorie. When it is a whole food, your body has to rev up harder and work harder to break it down, so you actually burn more calories eating that, and your body can't absorb as much of it. So say like an apple or some broccoli, versus if you're eating something that is processed, like say a Pop-Tart or a hamburger bun, your body absorbs so much more of it because it's already been broken down in a form that your body can more readily absorb. So it's not equal. You can't just go by calories in, calories out. If you can avoid processed food and of course sugars and things like that, you're gonna do so much better. And of course we all know that sugar is an addicting substance. Right there with you. So, okay, so just for some quick tips today on how to just be smart about this. Again, fast food should always be your last option. And if you can already have a plan as to what you can eat at different places, so that it makes it super easy, and so that you're not tempted to get something that sounds good, yeah, that's even at a sit-down restaurant, that's a better plan. I always like to know what I'm gonna get, so that I'm not tempted to get I don't like pasta, so that's not gonna be an issue, but some flatbread or something like that. Really avoid the gimmicks. I posted in my thing talking about what the question was today, a picture of a lean cuisine meal. And let me approach that really quick, because I have people say, well, it's a great convenient option. Okay, guys, seriously, any of those health foods, first of all, taste like cardboard, because, when it's supposed to be healthy and it's less calories and blah, 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 they don't put a lot of the things in it that make it taste good, sugar and fat. The other thing is, man, it's still a processed food, right? It also has a lot of sodium. And as Americans today, we tend to get a lot of sodium, but processed food primarily is the main reason why we get so much sodium. So really, yeah, I haven't had one of those in years and years and years. And way back when I was still teaching school, and kind of learning about the process of how food worked, I would keep a few of those on hand, and those might be a great lunch option for me at the time. But now that I know what I know, because they are cardboard, Marco says, yeah, they kind of are. Really, I would say that's just kind of right up there with fast food. It's just, I don't care what they say on TV, just avoid the gimmicks. There's so much garbage out there. And just because, it's labeled healthy does not make it healthy, guys. Things like protein cookies are not a healthy option. They still contain a ton of sugar. And most of them are actually 2 servings in one cookie. Yeah, read the label, guys. So keep that in mind. You gotta avoid the gimmicks and the garbage that's out there, because again, they just wanna sell you something. Great idea. You know what? It's always a good idea to have extra things hidden around. Like in my car, I might have an extra bag of protein powder, like a bag, a Ziploc bag of protein powder. Every once in a while, I try not to do a whole lot of protein bars, because to me it's still processed food. It's not my best option. But when I travel, I usually take those along with like tuna packets. But other great options, at your desk at work, and you might, not have food with you. Keep a stash of nuts. Maybe if you have a work fridge there, like especially if it's your own and the coworkers can't get in it and steal your stuff. I know it happens. Have some fruits and vegetables and pre-made hard-boiled eggs, some things that you might be able to eat just in case you do make it to work that day and you don't have food with you, or didn't get that chance. Yep. And also, like I said, I like to know when and where I can get what I need if for some odd reason I'm in a pinch and I just don't have things with me. Because again, it's not, some people say, well, I'd rather go out without than eat that. Unfortunately, what that does is it tanks your metabolism. So especially those of us that are trying to be healthy and build and maintain muscle, not always the best idea to go without. Sometimes that is, sometimes something's better than nothing. whew, I hate to say that, but you know, if a McDonald's burger is it, I guess that's what you're gonna have to do. But you just have so much better options out there. So hopefully that helps. That was a great question. Like I said, I get my best ideas from you guys. So please leave a message below if you have a question, or you can message me directly. Last week or the week before, the question was directly that day from somebody, and I actually changed the topic as to what I was gonna do because of that. It was such a great topic. But anyway, this Saturday will be Meals with Melissa. So check back to see what that's about. And until next Wednesday, have a good one, guys. That is Q&A Wednesday. Have a good one.